Gentlemen, at 50, most men start letting themselves go. Style becomes an afterthought. Effort disappears. Standards drop. But Sean Connery? At 50, he looked sharper than most men ever will. Not because he had more clothes, not because he followed trends, but because he understood something most men ignore. Style is discipline. Let's break it down. He kept his style timeless. One thing that defined Sean Connery's style was consistency over time. No loud prints, no trend-driven experiments, no trying to look younger than he was. Just classics. Navy, gray, white, earth tones. Pieces that worked 20 years ago and still work today. That's what most men miss. They chase what's current, what's trending, what's in right now. But trends fade quickly, and when they do, your style fades with them. Connery avoided that completely. He built his look on pieces that don't expire. And because of that, his style always felt relevant without ever trying to be. Because real style isn't about keeping up, it's about staying consistent. And that signals something powerful. You're not chasing relevance, you own it. He respected fit above everything. One thing you'll notice about Sean Connery is this: nothing he wore ever looked accidental. His jackets sat perfectly on his shoulders. His trousers fell in clean, sharp lines. His shirts framed his body, not hid it. No baggy clothes, no sloppy shapes, just structure. And that's what made even the simplest outfits look powerful. Because fit does something most men underestimate. It creates presence. It sharpens your silhouette, adds control to your appearance, and makes everything look intentional without needing anything extra. Most men ignore this. They focus on brand, colors, trends, but overlook the one thing that actually changes how they look instantly. Connery didn't make that mistake. He built everything on fit first, and that's why his style always felt strong and effortless. Because when your clothes fit properly, you don't just look dressed. You look like a man who pays attention. He carried himself like a man. This is what most people miss about Sean Connery. It wasn't just the clothes. It was how he wore them. Straight posture, calm, unhurried movement, controlled energy. Nothing rushed, nothing forced. When he walked into a room, everything seemed to slow down. That's not style, that's presence. And that's where most men fall short. They focus on what they wear, but ignore how they carry it. But without the right presence, even great clothes lose their impact. Connery understood this. He didn't rely on clothing to create authority. He brought it with him. Because when your body language is calm and controlled, people feel it before you even speak. And that signals something powerful: presence. And presence cannot be fake. He never tried to impress. One thing that set Sean Connery apart was this: he never tried to impress. No over-accessorizing, no loud branding, no forcing attention. And because of that, he stood out even more. That's the part most men get wrong today. They think standing out comes from adding more, bigger logos, flashier pieces, more styled outfits. But instead of creating presence, it often creates noise. And noise weakens impact. Connery did the opposite. He removed everything unnecessary and let simplicity do the work. Nothing competed, nothing distracted. Everything felt controlled. Because real confidence doesn't need decoration. It shows up on its own. And that signals something powerful. You're not trying to be noticed. You already are. He looked comfortable, but never careless. One thing that stood out about Sean Connery was how relaxed he looked without ever looking careless. There's a difference. He looked comfortable in his clothes. At ease, natural, but never messy. Even in casual outfits, everything was intentional. Shoes clean, clothes pressed, fit always on point. That's what most men get wrong. They think comfort means letting things go. Wrinkled clothes, worn out shoes, loose fits. But that quickly turns into carelessness. Connery kept the balance. He stayed relaxed, but maintained control. And that's what made his style feel effortless, not lazy. Because real style isn't about trying harder. It's about staying disciplined, even when things are simple. And that signals something powerful. You control how you present yourself, not the other way around. He was consistent. One thing that defined Sean Connery was consistency. He didn't dress well occasionally. He dressed well always. Same standard, same sharpness, same identity. And that's what made him recognizable. Most men rely on mood. Some days they show up sharp, other days they completely let it go. But that inconsistency weakens how people see you. It makes your image unclear and easy to forget. Connery didn't have that problem. He set a standard and lived up to it every time. Because style isn't built in moments. It's built in repetition. And when you show up the same way consistently, people start to associate you with it, and that signals something powerful. He maintained himself. One thing that separated Sean Connery from most men was simple. He maintained himself. Hair always groomed, face sharp and clean, overall appearance put together. No neglect. Because here's the truth most men ignore. Style doesn't work if the man doesn't. You can wear great clothes, but if your grooming is off, if you look tired or unkempt, it weakens everything instantly. Connery understood that presentation starts with the man, not the outfit. The clothes come after. And after 50, this becomes even more important. Because now, small signs of neglect neglect stand out more than ever. So the standard is simple. Take care of yourself first, because when you maintain yourself, everything else starts to work better. And that signals something powerful: self-respect. After 40, style becomes simple if you let it. You don't need to dress younger. You don't need to follow trends. What you need is standards. Because the moment you start dressing with intention, like Sean Connery did, everything changes. You don't just look sharp, you look like a man who knows exactly what he's doing.